Welcome back to Waiting for Nintendo, everyone. We've got a special guest here, Brendan Hesse,
Hello.
Also known as The Crawl. And welcome, Brendan.
Hello. Thanks for having me back on. It's been like,
yes.
What was it? It was like around June when I was on last.
Yes, it was before our secret podcast got discovered. So we had like way fewer subscribers and virtually 100 viewers about that viewership. So very few people who are here now probably would recognize you. So it's important we reintroduce you.
Hello. Yes, I am.
We bring you up sometimes.
Yeah, we do.
Not
we
like
talk
you're
about
completely unknown.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true.
You're part of the lore.
Now they can put a voice and a face to the name.
Yes. And very quickly, Brendan is the one who coined the name Waiting for Nintendo. And we have a whole segment about that. But here he is.
Yep. Don't worry. I didn't like email the name to myself or anything, so there's no way that I could come after. There's no litigious action that will come back in the future when you guys hit like 2,000 subscribers.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, actually. So we're also celebrating 2,000 subscribers.
This is pretty crazy,
isn't
Congrats, you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2,000. There was one person in particular whose name was It's a Secret to Everybody, who suggested, he was like, you guys are going to hit 2,000 before the end of the year. And we didn't. So we were right. We were ultimately right.
Yeah.
But we got way close. Yeah, suck on it. We got way closer.
He was closer than me. I was telling you're going to hit 10K by the end of the year. So
10K.
Dude, we're going to pass. We're going to pass Shredder.
Oh, yeah. That'll be...
to the moon.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if this passed my other channel, but once I get the uploads started this year, which I got a lot. I think if I get 12 uploads, there's no shot it passes it. But if I fall and crash and burn, then I could.
You're competing with a daily beast is the problem.
Yes, it's true. It's true. Yeah. Isn't that like a news outlet or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
Anyway, we're going to be talking about Metroid Prime 4 because Brendan is the only one here who's played it and beaten it. And we're celebrating 2K. Wanted to introduce Brendan back on the podcast. So, because we talked a lot of shit about this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. And
it's one thing to talk shit when we have no intention of ever playing it. And it's another thing to talk shit when you have played it. Right?
Yes. Yeah.
There's like legitimacy to those words. I was looking for any excuse in the world to buy this game, and it never provided a path. I was trying to make it happen, and then it was the least interesting route, so it just it didn't happen. So
you said if it got an 85 or higher, you would buy it.
And also a 75 or lower, yeah.
Yeah. And
it just couldn't be within that range, and I didn't, it was.
And that's that's a really good point, because I think before we said anything, I said this to Hayden, I've said this to other people, I don't think this game is neither good enough nor bad enough to warrant the level of like discourse that it did. It's fine.
Fine. Well, I think the discourse is all around like people would not have expected a game like this to come out with that title, especially after restarting development.
Well, so they didn't. Did you read the Famitsu article?
Okay, I didn't. You can educate me.
Yeah, so they inherited Bandai Namco's design and also their prototypes, and they built off of it. So this is not like, a lot of the interview was them saying like, yeah, we kind of knew that the desert wasn't good, but we had to finish this game. And I mean, obviously they were saying it in a way that's a little bit more diplomatic, and is also translated because it's a Famitsu article, so who knows what sort of nuance is being lost there. But yeah, like, this was not a game that I think, I don't think it was ever going to be anything groundbreaking to begin with. Mm-hmm. It was always going to be the fourth Metroid Prime game. But this version of it in particular is like, I think Retro was really just hired to finish someone else's homework. And
man,
it feels like that. Like, it feels like this weird disjointed thing. Because all the stuff that Retro's always been really good at with the Metroid games, even though this is largely a different team than the people who made the first three, they still have like, it has that that depth of the art direction, the atmospheric vibe.
Yeah, the art seems to be there. That's the most obvious thing, is it there are parts of the game where I look at it and I feel that it's beautiful. It feels like you're walking through concept art.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like that's the stuff about the game that like worked for me, and that
a lot of vaginas in there too, I noticed.
Yeah, and lotus flowers, which I mean, kind of go hand in hand. But
not since
honestly,
Earthbound. There's been so many vaginas in a Nintendo game.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, yeah. But I don't know. It both like it clarifies why this game is so weird, and kind of makes me a little bit more hopeful for what a theoretical Metroid Prime 5, completely made from the ground up by Retro, and a fully staffed Retro. Like, this is a smaller team than made the other games, and they outsourced a lot of their stuff to other studios. So like, it's just a weird game. To just bring it back to the actual game itself, like I just think it's fine. I enjoyed a lot of it. I don't think it's not amazing. It's certainly on the lower end of the Metroid series in terms of a ranking, if you were going to do that. Certainly for me. I know there are people
definitely
out there
bottom half, right?
Oh, yeah, like
okay, like not in the middle. Like, we're talking bottom.
Yeah, and like I don't know. Like, I have really mixed feelings about Metroid Prime 2 and 3 as well. And I think as I've gotten older, I think I've realized that the reason I like Metroid Prime so much is because I just really like the first person perspective and pacing of that game. But it's just first person Super Metroid, and Super Metroid to me is like neck and neck with it for my favorite Metroid game. So like almost the entirety of the 2D series is better to me than the rest of the Prime games. So, and this lands pretty much right there with them. Yeah. I think only Other M and Federation Force and Hunters are lower for me.
Mm-hmm. Well, for those of you who don't know, Brendan has a history in the industry, video game industry. He's written for several outlets professionally and currently works and writes for GameSpot. So I'm going to ask you if you have any insider knowledge on... You mentioned Retro Studios had a skeleton crew. What the hell happened over there? Because like, we never really got any information. Like, remember the barbecue pictures they would post of like, what are you guys working on? And it's like, they'd post pictures on Twitter of just barbecue. Do you remember this?
No, I don't.
Okay. They did that like all the way back, like probably like 2 years after Tropical Freeze came out. Okay. And it was like, after Tropical Freeze, did they have a canceled game? Were they working on something? And like,
yes, they did have a cancel. I don't know what that canceled game was. I know there's all those rumors about like it was potentially like a Star Fox game or an F-Zero game. I don't know what it was, but they did. There were a lot of cancellations. The team also really downsized. And for example, like, I'm pretty sure that most of what took so long for Retro to get their end of development going was that they just had to staff up for like 2 years, and then they still couldn't get to like a full size staff. They outsourced to a bunch of different places. So
I followed that a bit.
I really don't know.
Yeah, I saw that they were hiring constantly. What?
Well, now that the staff is in place, I mean, do you think that the next thing that they do would be 5, or has 4's kind of like weirdness kind of shut the door on that? Maybe they just do something else entirely.
Kind of vibing with no 5, right?
Yeah, it feels like a no 5.
It's selling decently, and
I was wondering about that. Yeah, what if it like is the highest selling?
It won't be the highest selling. I don't think it'll be. I don't think it'll be even Prime remastered. But here's the thing. I don't think Nintendo sees Metroid needing to reach certain benchmarks to continue existing, right? Okay. I think to them, they're like, if it sells a couple million, that's fine. Keep going.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, like, Metroid's going to exist in some form. I just mean, like, the Prime branding feels like an anchor to this game more than it helped.
I think, I mean, that could be true. I think that there will be a 5. They say as much in the Famitsu article that, like, now that they have the content pipeline and the development like baseline in the engine worked out, that they do plan on taking stuff forward. But there's nothing definitive there. I think it really just depends on what Tanabe wants to do. If Tanabe wants to do another one, has ideas for another one, and if Nintendo of Japan is like, yeah, okay, go for it.
Yeah, I'd love to see more in that engine, because the game runs great. Like, definitely make more games that are a little bit better, maybe.
Well,
with
and
that
that's the
stuff.
thing is, I think that there is potential for whatever this retro team to do something a little bit more successful next time around, when they're not having to like finish Bandai's game, when they can just be like, all right, here's all of our own ideas and whatever. And I mean,
how much
I don't
of that
wanna,
is Cap, honestly? Like, how
What?
much of
What do you
that
mean?
is like they know it sucks, and so they're just throwing Namco,
passing the
Bandai
blame.
under? Yeah. Like, I kind of don't buy it, honestly.
Same.
I mean,
Like,
I
feel like
I don't think legally they could say that.
yeah.
I don't think you could legally say like, yeah, we inherited Bandai Namco's builds and prototypes and then built off of it and finished their game because Tanabe wanted this game to exist that way. I don't think they could say that. I think all of these answers, it's Nintendo. And Nintendo is notorious for PR, like looking over every word of a review.
That's
or of an
very
interview.
true. Yeah.
So this is not just some rogue developer coming out and saying this and throwing it out there. Nintendo said, yeah, okay, this is fine. You can say this. And you're saying stuff that doesn't impact our relationship with other business partners and isn't going to. So, I don't, what I'm curious about is what was it about the Bandai Namco relationship that dissolved? Was it a business deal that didn't come
standards, whatever that means?
Yeah, I don't know what it was. I really don't know, and we'll probably never know that.
You think it was drama over the Solare amiibo, potentially? Like, something about it, just like there was some drama behind the scenes about the functionality, and like they were saying, you can't have Praise the Sun unlocked this early in the game. That's really, I don't know.
Yeah, it was, they were upset about that, and they
pay to praise.
They had to divert all of their resources to getting the Bloodborne 2 port up and running. So
I have to say, are you looking forward to that?
To Dustbloods?
Yeah.
I mean, it's on my radar. I'm interested in it for sure.
Doesn't it look so ugly though? Like, doesn't it look bad to you? You think it's fine, Jason?
It looks fine.
I think it looks. It's the same engine they use for Elden Ring and Armored Core 6, so it looks like those games to me. I don't know. I think it looks fine.
Okay.
I think
it looks painfully Switch 1 to me.
I mean, I don't want to play it, but at the same time, graphically, I'm not like, oh, this is disgusting. But it's like, fucking whatever.
I think conceptually, I think conceptually, it is what I'm more interested, like, or averse to, is like, I don't know if I want to play a multiplayer game. I'll follow it, but I mean, Night Rain turned out well for them.
I still haven't tried it, and I kind of want to. It seems like it's kind of stuck around in some of my gaming circles, and I still see people playing it, and I'm kind of like, should I jump in?
I mean, a lot of people seem to like it.
Might be a good game chat.
It might be. But yeah, I think just to round out, I guess, I know we've talked a lot about like the development of Metroid Prime 4, but like that game, if you like those other 3 games, you'll probably like Metroid Prime 4. If you don't like those games, you probably won't like this one. But unless you're like just absolutely like against a lot of the stuff that's in there, which entirely fair. I don't think it the stuff that it does bad doesn't stick around long enough to completely ruin the game. How about that? And
the desert, does it just bring it down, the whole crystal farming thing? I mean, that seems like it sucks.
It's blown out of proportion, man. Like you can you just wait until you unlock the power bombs, and then you spend like 20 or 30 minutes getting them, and you're done.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's really not that big of a deal. It looks terrible. I hate the way it
does,
looks.
though. It does.
It looks like the on foot locations are incredible, and then it looks like a level out of fucking Spyro the Dragon, and I don't know what the deal is.
The biggest problem of the game from the outside looking in, I think it's just our first impressions ended up being like what the game was, and that it was just kind of unfocused, and it was a bunch of ideas that don't necessarily work together.
Yeah.
You know, like the desert and the crystals and the annoying people talking and it's like you build on one of those elements, but it's like, and then with like the self-contained Metroid areas, it just seems that it was, you know, it was the people going in different directions, but then, you know, sticking it together through like one thing. That's what it felt like.
Yeah. So I mean, you guys asked if the like the whole like inheriting the development from Bandai Namco was cap. I think what was cap was the fact that they were like, and we're giving it to Retro. I think that was an attempt to be like, don't worry, everyone, we're still making the game, and it's going back to Retro. No, I don't think. I think that was, if there was any sort of like, you know, sneaky PR play, it was that they were leveraging the name recognition of Retro when that team was not the same team, is not the same.
The studio
whatever.
wasn't even on fire; it already burnt down. Yeah. It sounds like.
I mean, it was not only had it burnt down, like they had abandoned the building, and now they've restaffed, they rebuilt it, and it's just like maybe there's something there for the future. Now, I don't want to spoil anything specifically. I'll say that it ends in a way where they probably are making a sequel.
I think we can spoil the ending, right? We're not going to play it. I mean,
So I mean, if no one here is listening, wants to know about it, like I guess skip ahead. But like, Silex doesn't die, and you know the troopers don't make it out. I'm pretty sure. I think they're all going to die, but a lot of people think that they're gonna or that they are dead.
It's up to interpretation.
It's up to interpretation.
I just heard that they died. I didn't know there was like who knows? Like,
they don't say
fake deaths.
Oh.
No, they do that. They do that the whole time. And so to me, I think that the fact that they were like faking out their deaths, which some of them happened multiple times, and then they're like, Samus, leave, go. We're going to hold off Silex. And then she gets transported out, and that's the end of the game. To me, I read that as like, there's a couple other things that happen at the end. It's not worth talking about. But like, of like, yeah, that's it. They're done. They died. They sacrificed themselves so Samus could get out to complete her mission of rebirthing the Lamorne or whatever. And and I think that those characters were just like they're going to be there for 4, and if they come back in 5 or ostensibly a 6 or something,
that would be outrageous.
It would be weird.
Miles and
I don't know how they would do it. I don't know why they would do it. I think and like Silex is barely in this game. And they don't reveal anything about him till the last minute, and it's really flimsy and weird. And there's just nothing there.
I saw his backstory, and it didn't even make sense. Like Samus shows up too late to the battlefield, and so he blames Samus or something.
It's not even that. No. So what happens is they're all fighting some space pirates, and there's like a ship, and they blow up the ship. Samus blows up his ship to save all the Federation troopers, and he was trying to take the ship so he could have their cool cannon and like. Whatever, and like gets all his squad killed, and he's really mad at Samus for blowing up that ship.
I don't know, man. This game seems like, I mean, it just, everything I hear about it sounds so bad. Like, you know, everything that's not that quiet Metroid Prime gameplay seems to be a bad addition. They all seem to take away from the overall experience.
That's 100% true. I don't think anything that they added makes for the game a more interesting experience. It either doesn't add anything or it actively takes away from it. And like, that's why the game is not great. Like it's like a 7, maybe. Like
that
it's
feels
fine.
generous though, doesn't it?
No, dude, that's the thing. Is like the parts of it that are good are really good.
Damn.
Like that's the problem with this game. And like that's when I wrote my article about it. About being so conflicted on it is like there's stuff in this game that is like if you like Metroid Prime as much as I do, there's a lot of stuff in this game that absolutely rules. It's super good. And then there's all this other stuff that sucks. And it just it makes for this really uneven and hard to quantify experience.
Now we got to talk about the history with the trailers before we move on from Metroid Prime 4. Because I know at first in our own messages, I messaged Brendan all the way back before waiting for Nintendo started, and I was complaining about that very first Metroid Prime 4 trailer that dropped in like 2023 maybe or 2. Just saying that I thought it sucked and that like it didn't really do anything for me. And then as the trailers came along, I felt like each one got worse. And you liked the first trailer, but then I feel like the last few you didn't like. Yeah.
I thought they were fine up until they revealed the bike, and then I was like, oh god. And then and then that was pretty bad. And then the Miles thing. So I knew about the Miles thing before they had announced it because I had edited our preview coverage for it at GameSpot.
How did that feel?
Dude.
Your favorite like game being Metroid Prime.
I was like, I thought that I had like come to terms with the idea that like, okay, there's going to be this bike in this desert, but like I can maybe handle that. And then I'm reading about Miles, and I like almost couldn't believe what I was reading.
I thought it was a joke. I literally thought it was a joke. I
didn't believe it until I saw the companion video and all the stuff they described was in the gameplay. I'm like, wow. It's as they described.
Now the good news is like it's a vanishingly small amount of that game that you are around those people. It's backloaded to like the last third or so where they're really around a lot, and like Miles shows up and you have to like go like take him a couple things so he can upgrade your suit or whatever. But I mean, like, the Aurora units are more present in Metroid Prime 3 than that. And even like it's like Adam in like talking to you like every other save in Dread or Fusion. And so I don't know. I actually ended up thinking that Miles was okay. There's another character in there, Armstrong, who I just think is insufferable. Like she's like, oh my god, Samus is in a morph ball. Isn't that so cool? And I'm like,
you have like a fangirl.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. She fangirls a lot, and like, another problem. Okay, we should probably move on soon. But like, there are so many things, so many avoidable problems about this game that literally can be fixed by them just making a game more like the first two Metroid Primes, and like that's
See, I feel like you're being too lenient, man. I really do, because I hear endless issues and problems, but you're like, yeah, but the base
they're not endless. Like we've really covered like my gripes.
Okay.
Like that's it. And like, and again, I think the reason that I talk about it is, first of all, like that's the stuff that I know everyone wants to hear about. Is they want to talk trash about the game. I understand that. But like, I think the music's great. The environments are really, really well made. I mean, they are a little bit more linear than I would like, but like they look so good. Like the game in 120 FPS on the Switch screen, even though the Switch screen isn't that great, the 120 FPS is so good. It looks so nice.
Yeah.
I think that there are two areas in this game that are some of the best Metroid areas, and one in particular that I think is like top 3.
Is it the Bike Factory? I've heard good things about that place.
No, the Bike Factory is one of the two. No, the best one to me is the Ice Zone. It is so good. And I don't know. And I think that to me is the part that is the hardest, is that it feels like we got so close to like a really good game.
What do you say to the people who have been posting maps and they make it seem like the game is just like line, little like circle area, line, little circle area? Have you seen this? Like people are posting like diagrams of Prime and then this game, and it's like literally just a fucking straight line.
I would say that they're not incorrect, but the way that this game is structured is it's not.
Is it more like puzzle of the room based than it is like overarching, going in on itself?
So it is that, yes, it's more puzzle of the room, and it's also more puzzle of the area. So it is more like a Zelda dungeon than it is like navigating a Metroid map. And the way that they section out the world is such that you are traveling back and forth between places a little bit more than you would in other ones. Like, not that's not entirely true, but because there's only one way in and out of every area,
It stands out because it's like you have to go back to the desert every time, so it makes it seem like you need to do more than you actually are.
Yeah, you're doing that more than just like going to one end of Meridia to get into Turian and then going back to get to Brinstar. It's like there's only one way to get in and out. So yeah, I think here's the thing. Everyone's criteria for what makes a good Metroid game is going to be different. And so if what you want is labyrinthine level design, which is to me like a top 3 thing, you'll probably be disappointed in some of the level design here. But if you like other stuff like the immersion and atmosphere of the Prime games, there's a lot to really dig into. And there's some really cool moments. So Hayden, I know you really want to like have me hate this game. And I know you want me to
I do kind of. Honestly, now that you say it, I do kind of like, I'm like, Brendan, come on, man.
I know that.
I'm trying to get you to join the dark side. Like, just shit on it, man. This game sucks, but
it's simply because in the infinite subjectivity of human experience, it just hits on the things that I like. And so like I can't say that it's an absolutely a bad game when like I had a good time with it. I 100%ed all the items. And I don't think it's great, but I didn't hate it.
I understand that. There are games like that for me where it hits on enough notes to where like the problems they just aren't that big a deal for me. I look
Spirit
at this
Tracks.
game though personally. When I look at Spirit Tracks is a good example. I actually like a lot of the things about that game that people dislike, but when I look at these, I know I wouldn't like it. I know.
Yeah, that's fair.
I would not like the desert. I would just roll my eyes every time. I would not want to encounter these NPCs. Like, I know it's not a game for me, even though it looks beautiful. And I do think the music's great. And I did mention you, like, the day it came out when I was listening to all the, like, the Samus fanfare and the item discovery. Like, sounds gorgeous. Gorgeous.
Yeah, Kenji Yamamoto and Minaka Hamano, they killed it. Jason, what were you going to say?
I just mean that in time, like the further away you get from a thing, the less like nuanced, things that stand out about any given like piece of art or like game or whatever is. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, in 10 years, I feel like we're not going to be talking about how the music sounded cool and this area was cool. I think we're just going to remember, like, man, why the fuck did they put a dumb bike and Miles McKenzie in this stupid Metro? Like, why? I feel like those are the things, that's its lasting legacy.
Jason, I don't think there's going to be YouTubers defending it as the hidden gem, black sheep of the franchise.
Well, that happens with every game ever, because there's, on the internet, there is somebody saying every opinion that could possibly exist. So, like,
so here's the thing
that will happen.
I agree with you, Jason, but I think that it's not that things go. It's not that we are going to drift negative. It's that we're going to drift towards entropy in the middle, and what we're going to find is that we're all going to be like, yeah, it was fine, it wasn't great, but it wasn't.
Or
the
just
worst
never talking about it.
I don't know. That's on the internet. You think in the land of its streams, it's just going to end up being that was an okay game? I mean, that's not what happened with Metroid Other M. I remember when that came out, people didn't like loathe it right away.
Well,
that took time.
You haven't been paying attention to a lot of the discussions on.
I mean, people did.
Some
people did then, in the same way that some people really hate Prime 4 now. But it's like, I don't know. There were some people at the time who thought that was okay, and they were like saying the same shit you were. And they're like, yeah, but when something
Skyward
right,
Sword might be a good example.
Skyward Sword is a good example. I think we're going to look back, and it's not going to be that it's like the worst game in the series. It's going to be like, yeah, it's in the lower tier. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not. I like that. Here's the thing. I'm not. I'm just delivering on my experience here. I'm not trying to convince anyone that like who didn't like it or who wants to talk shit about a game is wrong. But like I just thought it was fine. And that to me is like its lasting legacy is that it's going to be kind of like whatever.
Yeah, that I would agree with that. I think that's probably what it's going to be. It's not. The things that it did aren't so offensive. It's not like a Duke Nukem 3D type, like, legendarily people hate it for all time type of deal. I just feel like, I don't know, sometimes I latch on to certain negative things about a game and I just can't let go, and they'll grow in my mind sometimes. Over time, I'll keep thinking about the thing that I did not like. And sometimes it ruins it. Sometimes I actually get over it and change my mind.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Every single time you play a game is a different experience, right? So, like, I might like it this time. I might hate it the next time. And if I play it again, maybe I'll think it's the best game ever. I don't fucking know. The first time through, it was exceedingly fine.
Exceedingly. Well, happy 2000, everyone. It's good to have you here, Brendan. And
thanks.
That was our welcoming Brendan back on the podcast, talking about not Zelda. We will be doing that later, but Metroid Prime 4.
Stay tuned. It's a teaser. It's
you want to sign us off, Brendan?
Shallow and pedantic. Like and subscribe.
Excellent.
Hell yeah.